When people think about TSM's AD carry, for some people they think it's DoubleLift, but I do think because I've been playing with TSM for so long, it should be me.
I'm here to let you know that none of this stuff is a game to me. Cause I am the one that you all came to see. I am the one that's exactly how we're here to be. The champion, said it's all again. Everyone else is welcome. Compared to the king. Who was the best is the question they keep on asking. And I'm constantly smashing while I'm giving out crashing.
My intention is to come back to TSM, but it's not like I've already earned the spot or anything. Like, the community thinks that I own that spot, but I don't.
When I see comments, I do feel a little irritated, but I also have an inner drive to play better than DoubleLift.
Let's go. No, we never want to run. Let's go. Let's go. It don't matter where we from. Whenever you see us come, just know that we number one. Let's go.
I think Turtle has a lot to gain out of this. If he beats me in lane, he gets that satisfaction. I'm really confident that I'm a better player. The biggest impact I can have is just smashing lane and trying to take over the game. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I don't think I'm holding this spot for DoubleLift. To all the people that don't think I should be here, I want to prove them wrong.
Let's go, 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 let's go.
Welcome once again to our LCS studios here in Los Angeles, California. Fans have loaded in for our final weekend of the 2017 Spring Split. Earlier, though, in the day, Immortals took to the stage, getting ready for one of their battles. And, of course, CLG themselves filing in. The players down a player today. Stixay out sick, unfortunately, but Joey will be subbing in for the team in his absence. We'll have to see how he does. A little bit of role swapping to be coming our way as well. Wildturtle prepping for his match up against DoubleLift, who will be doing the same. That's going to be a very interesting bot lane matchup, at least within the lane itself. Of course, the teams on opposite sides of the table. And here you're getting a look at some of our North American LCS leaderboards. Kills per game, assists per game, KDA, all the good stuff. Nice to see different players atop each of those tables, showing that there is quite a high level of parity, as you've put it before, Jat, within the North American LCS. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk are Mark Zimmerman and Joshua Jat Leesman. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I'm pretty pumped. Final weekend, there's like 3 different races going on between like the second, third place battle, the last place for the playoffs, and then also trying to avoid relegation. So a lot of different stuff to track.
Happy to say that there's still a lot that is undecided, meaning that there's lots to be decided in the games today. Let's begin with a look at the standings, see how the teams are ranked going into the day. TSM are at the top of the standings with Cloud9 in second and Phoenix 1 in third. Immortals come into today's match just shy of playoff positioning at 7th, while Team Liquid look to break from 9th in their games today. We'll see who can make the necessary moves with our upcoming matches, starting with Immortals versus CLG in the Battle Arena. Then NALCS 1 plays host to a fight for second as Cloud9 faces Phoenix 1. Over on NALCS 2, DoubleLift and Team Liquid go against Wildturtle and TSM, with Echo Fox versus Team Envy later in the day. A reminder that there are still tickets available for our Spring Finals, April 22nd and 23rd in Vancouver, Canada. Join us in the Pacific Coliseum to see which teams will be fighting for the title of Spring Split Champion. Check out that info and more at lolesports.com. Now, with tiebreaker scenarios still technically possible, let's review our rules once again. If at the end of the weekend 2 teams have the same match record, there are 2 rules we will use to break that tie before heading to a tiebreaker game. The first of which is head-to-head record. If the teams remain tied, we move to the next rule, which is game win percentage. Whoever has the higher game win percentage will advance. So, if and only if they are 1-1 versus each other and have identical game win percentage, will they play a tiebreaker game. For more on those conditions, check out our official rules on lolesports.com. We'll see how likely those scenarios are, starting with our matches today. So, gentlemen, first up, CLG versus Immortals. That was a whole lot of business.
Yeah, hold on. What do you think about the matchup? First, I don't want
to talk anymore. It's your turn to talk, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually, I think Immortals should be pretty happy about the current of events. I hope Stixay feels better because bringing in that emergency sub is pretty crazy. Joey's never played an LCS game, might not even be playing the AD carry role, might be having some role stops than CLG, which makes it a relatively easy target for Immortals to come in and win that game.
I mean, CLG is obviously pretty happy too because they were able to secure their playoff spot out last night with C9 winning, so they're in a pretty good spot as well. That's probably why this substitution isn't as terrifying if you're a CLG fan as it could have potentially been when you were looking at it. Joey coming in, obviously. Joey. Not much known about him, Joey.
Right, there might still be
that's what we know,
might still be seeding implications, but at least in your NALCS debut, it'll be nice to know that the team's playoff hopes are not riding on your shoulders.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because he is a support main. We found his highest solo queue account we could find in Master. It's tough competition to be coming in right up against, as Ole and Cody Sen have been looking a lot better, and we've seen other good players make role swaps into the AD carry position after 1 week's practice. It doesn't work well usually.
Right, and even if Aframu does make the transition over ADC and he fills in at support, you're filling Aframu's shoes now on support. So it's not like you're relieved of much pressure when it comes to your individual performance on stage here.
Yeah, I mean, Aframu is such like a vocal part of CLG's team. Like, can he do it when he's supposed to be focusing on microing and team fights and stuff like that? Like, the whole dynamic of the team changes beyond like, oh, Afro is just playing a different role now.
Exactly. So we'll see how CLG deals with this very immediate change here in the bot lane for them. Of course, I want to take a look at Immortals because with FlyQuest's win last night, Immortals need a win here to keep their postseason fate in their hands.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity for Immortals to show some consistency, please, because they've had so many up and down weeks. Dardoch has been the most inconsistent member on the entire team, and this is an opportunity where you can go in super overconfident, but when teams, CLG is going to be laughing during this game, almost no matter what happens. So there's a chance they can roll and get some momentum and do some crazy things to catch you off guard. Immortals need to make sure they're just as focused as they were when they thought it was Stixxay at the AD carry position because it's such an important win.
Play a smart, clean game. After that, Cloud9 is going to face off against Phoenix One. This is a battle that could determine who gets that second playoff bye.
Right, I think that's the big thing is that obviously P1 will own the head-to-head, assuming that they win here against them. Yeah, and then they'll have to play TSM tomorrow to try and actually get the second place seed away from C9, so it's still hard for them. But they've looked so good in recent weeks that a lot of teams have already considered them basically the second best team in the league, and C9 got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, exactly. We do have to couch Phoenix One's recent success a little bit, only because they haven't played against the top two teams as of yet in the North American LCS, which is C9 and TSM in the second half of the split. But the acquisition of Stunt, when they send Adrian off to Team Liquid, seems to have just made the team better. Meteos comes in. Everything they seem to be doing is just paying off immediately. So that's the type of environment you want to be having.
It is important to note, though, as you just mentioned, they're still going through the top two teams here in the final week of the split. And then, as you said, it's not only requiring a win today, but also a win tomorrow in order to get the second bye spot. Of course, because this is such a big match, I'm going to put you guys on the spot, ask you for some predictions. C9, Phoenix One, who are you going for?
Yeah, I am still going with the momentum of Phoenix One. I feel like Cloud9 has slowed down substantially as of late. Their early game has been quite bad, and Phoenix One, when I see them get leads, they close out games very decisively. Not to mention, they can still match C9 in lanes if C9 was going to hoping to get one of their advantages that way. The synergy of Meteos and Stunt and all these guys coming in, Arrow MVP candidate. This is where Phoenix One solidified themselves as contenders.
Dark Meteos over Light Sneaky. Who are you going for?
I'm going with C9, and what I'm going to say is I think this is one of the series where the Ray substitution can actually be very useful. We haven't seen it be in many series where you're like, oh man, Ray versus Impact, it's really important. But here, with Zig being a player who has a lot of these weird counter picks into tanks, like the Kled and things like that, having a player who can match him in like a carry versus carry matchup in Ray, and then hopefully get the counter pick against him, maybe that's what they need, especially considering that Phoenix One are not a super aggressive early game team, which is what C9 kind of likes playing into.
Yeah, with that, I do definitely think that Impact and Ray have both been looking a little bit lackluster in the top lane. The series yesterday, obviously up against Someday and Chaser, they both
got smashed.
Got feasted on.
But that's what I'm saying
is, so
Contracts is not, I mean, Meteos is not that guy who's going to go up there and destroy him, and Contracts doesn't need to worry about trying to match that kind of early game pressure.
Would there not then be an argument for at some point maybe swapping Inori in as a more aggressive jungler to
Who
go
knows?
up against
Maybe,
Contracts?
Maybe we see this really crazy chess match with everyone changing out their players over the course of the series.
I think it's a really cool thing that we're starting to see more matchups develop where both teams have the a legitimate possibility of subbing somebody in and really throwing a curveball. Now, a match with less playoff implications, but we must still talk about because there's plenty of heat behind it. Team Liquid versus TSM. DoubleLift versus Wildturtle.
Yeah, the pre-tryout for TSM starting AD carry position
the
in
public
Summer Split.
tryout.
Potentially, because DoubleLift's been super vocal about wanting to rejoin TSM, and he wants to smash Wildturtle in lane, whereas Parth in his AMA said the only way TLs and DoubleLift are winning this game is over our dead bodies. So I can see especially Turtle should have a lot of drive in this game because as he said, he's been TSM's AD carry for pretty much 3 years and DoubleLift was just there for a year. So Wildturtle really wants to defend his spot.
All right, within the lane itself, though, since we do know that it is a tall order for Team Liquid to actually take down TSM as it's 9th versus 1st. Let's kind of isolate it to the lane itself. Who do you guys think has the ability to come out on top within the single or 2v2 lane matchup?
I'm going to go with DoubleLift. It's obviously influenced by support a little bit, and I think a lot of us would say Biofrost is arguably the best support in the league right now. But the DoubleLift himself has some of the best CS differential at 10, which is huge. And then the meta has shifted a lot to more lane-dominant AD carries recently. So you see Caitlyn coming back, Lucian starting to be played a lot. These are things that DoubleLift thrives on, and we saw, his pocket pick Lucian all last year. So hopefully he gets a matchup like that and can kind of take over.
Yeah, I think TSM will win this matchup, but
Right.
I love that
Liquid,
no,
Mark, of course.
That's what I was about to. I was like trying to
I think
hold that
Liquid.
in.
No. Let's. Can we get a DoubleLift face
out of
on this?
context.
Get this down there.
I
Your
agree with what
credibility
you're
is
saying.
plummeting right now.
Yeah, Liquid has been in an absolute dive, but DoubleLift has still been a strong laner, and I do think that Wildturtle has never had laning as a strength, so
Yeah.
I also go with DoubleLift. In the laning phase,
Yes.
even
Right,
the rest of the
yes.
game, I think Turtle has shown a lot of improvements this split, making far fewer mistakes than we're used to seeing, and playing a wide variety of champions.
Right, I'll just put the asterisks on the graphic
Yeah.
down there. This is
Thank
for lane phase
Team
only,
Liquid
double
fanboys,
lift over
right
Wild
here.
Turtle. Well, you've
hold
heard
this.
from, shut up, it's my turn to talk. You've heard from the experts. We want to know what you think, though, at home. Who is your pick at ADC? TSM Wild Turtle or TL DoubleLift, and why? Let us know by tweeting us at LOL Esports and using the hashtag NALCS. That's going to do it for us here, though, at the Analyst Desk. It's time to send it over to the casters to get us into the games.